right, there we go. Hey everyone, Richard Carlton here. Welcome to another great day of FileMaker training at fmtraining.tv. I'm the creator of fmtraining.tv, where you can learn all about the FileMaker platform and learn how to build better FileMaker applications for you, your customers, your organization. This broadcast is completely free to everyone and is being broadcast in high definition to Discord, YouTube, and to Twitch. This broadcast is being recorded, which is really great. Of course, we might clean up the recording a little bit, so if we make a malfunction during the live stream, then of course we reserve the right to clean that up on the recording later on. However, because it's a live broadcast, we encourage you to ask questions. In fact, some people get aggravated when there's this dialogue with you and we ask questions. We want questions. If you have a question, odds are other people have the question too. And so I want to thank everyone for logging in, Ken and TK and Dave One, Dave Learning, Ed, Elzo, Carol, Jake, Mike, all of you, welcome once again to another great broadcast. Now, as a reminder, if you want to check out the upcoming broadcast, go to fmtraining.tv, press the left tab for the live button. You can see the upcoming broadcast schedule. That's pretty awesome. Additionally, if you want to help support this channel, right? We always say this, this broadcast is brought to you by fmtraining.tv, bringing you the greatest and the most entertaining FileMaker training videos available. So the idea is that if you want to help support the channel, make sure you check out our on-demand video bundles. We have videos that cover the latest version of FileMaker. We have videos that cover the deploy course. In fact, we used to sell the courses individually. Anymore, it's just much simpler to sell a complete bundle for a low price. We do this on an annual basis. So if you buy one of the bundles, that really helps support the channel. It ensures that we can keep coming back every day, because this broadcast actually takes a lot of money to run. The people here don't work for free. As much as I would love that to be the case, they do want to get paid. So moving along, today's broadcast is being supported by the folks at the Los Osos office. That would be Haley Marie, Christian Olson, and the awesome coaching team down there. They're originating the broadcast. And so let's go ahead and cut over to them right now and get our guest speaker going as well.
All right, welcome back everybody. My name is Haley and I will be running the broadcast today from the Los Osos office. So today I have Calvin with me. Hey Calvin, welcome.
How's it going?
It's going pretty good. How are you?
Doing well.
Good.
Good to be here.
Yeah, glad to have you. And from my understanding today, we will be covering day 2 on introductions with Claris Connect.
Yes, we looked at Claris Connect yesterday and did a simple integration with Twilio. So today we're looking at another a service called Typeform, and we're integrating FileMaker with that using Claris Connect and kind of walking through how that's set up. The process is pretty similar. And it's just another use case where this might be handy, especially if you use surveys and want to bring that information into FileMaker. And Claris Connect can be a good way to do that.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited for your demo and for learning about that. I know surveys is definitely something that I use and that I can improve the ways that I do that. So I will go ahead and let you take us away.
All right, let me go to my screen share. So I have this app over here. So let's just log into this. Is Claris Connect, and yesterday we went over the basics of setting up a Claris ID and purchasing Claris Connect. And so now let's just log in. So I'll use my email. I saved my password. I'll say sign in. And it brings us to our customer console. And so we have to select which project we're working on. So in this case, it's my test RCC project. And if you are working with multiple groups, then you'll see each group listed here.
Okay.
And then I'll go, yeah.
Sorry, real quick. I have a super basic question, but I don't know how many new people we have watching today. But in order to create a Claris account, do you have to be part of an organization or have FileMaker or anything like that to create an account, or is it just free? You can.
Yeah, no, you just set up your ID. They ask you for your email address, and you can put in a company name. I just put in RCC, but you'll see that this is my personal email, not my RCC email. So it's not really connected to any other organization.
Okay.
But the Claris ID is being used more and more by Claris to track a user's, or to authenticate a user. So now with FileMaker Cloud, the latest version of it, a person will, to give you permission to open up, to access their app hosted on FileMaker Cloud, you will have to give them your Claris ID, and they put you in as a approved user to log in. And so the Claris ID tracks your credentials for that, which is a pretty cool step. So just some basics on the Claris ID. So I have a Claris ID and a test Claris account, Claris Connect account. Let's go to Claris Connect. And it opens up a new tab and loads my Claris Connect information. And you'll see here's the different projects I've been working on. Now, this workspace that we are brought to has a number of projects that we can create a new project, open an existing project. And you can think of a project like a folder of all of the different work, all of the work that you're going to do on a given file that you have hosted. So these, if you have two different files that you're working on, you probably save all of your work for one file in each project. And the reason I have these broken out is just to for different demos. So this web form is what we're going to do today, and I have my app right here that's already collecting data from that. But let's start with a new project, and I'm going to call this Typeform Demo. Say create, and it's going to open up this. So when you have a project, within that project are different flows, and each each Claris Connect interaction is called a flow, and these flows you can have incorporate different apps to talk to your FileMaker app, and it's I kind of think of it like a script. It's a list of actions performed by various apps, and but we call it a flow. Let's go ahead and create a new flow. We're going to call this submit form. Let's say create, and so I selected. So I created the flow's name, and now I'm going to select which app I want to use to flow. I'm going to start with Typeform. And the first thing it's going to ask when we select the we selected our app, we want to pull information from Typeform, and I'm going to say continue. And the next thing it's going to ask me is to sign into Typeform. So I'll pull this up, and it's already recognized which account I am using for Typeform because it's logged into the same browser, and I'll just say accept. And so here's my Typeform account. I could put this as RCC demo account. The other thing that I didn't mention is that about projects is that credentials. It just saved my credentials for this Typeform account, and I can create any number of flows within this project, within the Typeform demo project, and reference those credentials. But I can't go to another project and reference the credentials from this project. So credentials are saved within each project. Looks like I lost my flow information, so let's start that again. Typeform demo. And you'll see it already saved my credentials from when I signed in previously. And now it connected to my Typeform account and is asking me which survey do I want to select. Now I only have one, so I'll select this one survey that I have. As we're creating this form, we have to test each step along the way and to get a response from that. So I'm going to just quickly go select my, so that I'll just quickly submit my form and jump through this real fast. Okay, so I just submitted a new form, and we should see this as soon as I submitted the survey. It got a response and it says success. So I'll save my trigger. And now we have this plus button. We can add an action, an if then, a repeat, or a stop. Let's do another action. And here we're going to select FileMaker Claris Server. And we talked with Richard about this yesterday. We've got options for FileMaker, Claris FileMaker Cloud, Claris FileMaker Server, Claris FileMaker Server on-premise, which has to do with security of working with a firewall. So I will select create record. That's what we want to do. And into a Claris FileMaker Server. So I'm going to put in my domain, and I'm going to put in a username. Now you'll notice I automatically typed in admin. Usually, though, you will want a specific account that's designated for your Claris Connect interactions, and that way it's more easily identified where that was created and where that originated. Also, it's easier to restrict access. We don't want to give the Claris Connect account full access and such.
Good to know.
And now we'll put in the app name. And just as I mentioned before, or yesterday, the name can't have any spaces. You can have an app with spaces on the server, but that Claris Connect will have issues connecting to it. You can't type those in. Yes.
Got it. Okay. David Angel has a question. He said the account should be granted data API, or the server should have enabled data API.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's a question or a statement, but that is correct. Let's go ahead and look at, this is my survey file, and I'll manage security. And here's my Claris Connect. It happens to be full access, but we probably wouldn't give it full access. And it needs to have the FileMaker Data API enabled, access via FileMaker Data API enabled in the extended privileges. And that's the way that Claris Connect is interacting with the app on FileMaker Server. It's through the FileMaker Data API. So yes, that's needs to be enabled. Let me just double check this name. That looks good. I'll say sign in. And actually, when I was setting up this demo earlier, I ran into the issue where my authentication wasn't working, and it was because the FileMaker Data API was not enabled on that server. So I'm going to just call this one 41. And I'll say continue. So we authenticated, we pointed Claris Connect to the right server, we pointed it to the right app, we put in credentials for that app, and so now we have access, and we need to select where we want this new record added. And here we have a drop-down list with all of the layouts for this. And I have a designated layout for Claris Connect. And you'll want to have a layout that just has the fields that you need Claris Connect to access, and pretty much nothing else. And so I'll select that. And here's a list of all the fields on that layout. If we want to look at that layout, I'll just show it to you over here. It's a designated layout just for Claris Connect. And all it has is the field names that we want to use. So I'm going to put that down there. And so we selected the layout. It brings up the field names that we want to enter data into. And when we select here the plus, it pulls information that we gathered in the previous steps. So previously had this new form response from type form, and here we have a list of all of the data pulled from that submitted form, the one that I did a few moments ago. And you'll notice it's pretty long, and every app that you integrate with, every service that you integrate with, will have this data structured just slightly differently, and according to their data structure and however they choose to have that set up. And we'll notice that in here, the body is the entire object, and then within that we have different parts to it. And this first whole part is just the questions, and I really don't really care about the questions for this. I want to scroll all the way down to the bottom, and we'll see it in just a second. Maybe I passed it. Let's scroll up. There should be a section called Answers. And here we go. Here's the answers, and this is what I want to focus on. So, and you'll see this area with the blue box is the name of the data point, and then the text next to it is the data that was recently pulled from the form that I submitted. So email corresponds with email, and I should have typed out an email address so that was a little more obvious. That was an email address. Let's go to the next one, and we'll scroll down once again to our answers. Here's our answers, and we want a platform, so I'm going to choose this one. And next is presenter. We will scroll down, and we can pull any of this data that we want from the information. So any of these data points, I'm just selecting to pull the ones that the specific ones I want. Sometimes you pull in all the data for whatever reason, and in this case, we're just selecting these specific items.
Okay.
So we got topic.
Yeah, and in going through this, one kind of question I think comment, because I think it's accurate, is the text. So like all that, the little blue boxes with the text, would that be the key, where then the email or the information after it would be the value?
Yeah, so if one of the things about Claris Connect is that it makes things a little simpler to look at than looking at, say, a JSON object. But if you were to see this in all the data that comes from type form into Claris Connect, it'd probably be in JSON, and these would correspond with your key value pairs. So we've got the key, which is our data point, and then we've got the value of that data point on the left.
Got it.
Or, I'm sorry, on the right. So that is exactly correct. Okay. So let me scroll down to this one, and I think I want this for our topics, and now we have an other topic, and you'll note it's really helpful to see the data that's entered, because that helps us more, especially in this case. You'll see in the names that they have, the name that corresponds with email is the 0 text, and platforms is one choice label. So it's not exactly evident in this case which just by the key value, the key which field it might belong to in our list, but seeing the pair, the value, the key value pair helps us identify that. So let's go ahead and scroll down to other topic. I'm guessing it was this one. And this is a number value. So I think we're just about down to the end. And the final question, I'll scroll down, and this is the last one. Okay, so we went through and we assigned a value from the type form results to each of the fields in that layout that we set up in FileMaker. I'm going to go ahead and save. And it should ask me to, if I want to review and test. Let's do that. And test action. So it's going to test this, and we're going to see what happens. Usually it responds a little faster than this, so I'm guessing that there is an error. And we ran into this a little yesterday. Yesterday's problem was that I was putting an entire object instead of just a data point in one of these results, which I did today as well, but it was working for me earlier today when I was testing. Well, I saved it, so it should work. Let's remove this. Let's remove this one. See if that fixes it. Save, review and test. Okay, so that time it worked. Let's go ahead. That's really interesting that this didn't work this time. I'm going to say edit configuration and go back to topic. Now here is actually in the survey, people have, it's multiple choice, and people can select multiple options. And in just a minute, I'd like to send everybody this web form, and you guys can try it out, and we can see the data pull right into FileMaker. So here's our multiple choice. Here's the labels. Maybe I should select choices instead of. Let's try selecting. So I think I selected choices last time. We're going to select choices labels. Save. And let's say test and review, or review and test. Test action. And I think we got the spinning wheel again. I think this should have worked already. Let's just try that other option. And if that doesn't work, we'll just look in the one that is working and try it out there. So choice.labels, let's just try choices. So we're down here, number 5, and let's try choices. Or choices labels. Save. We'll review and test.
While you're doing that, a couple of questions.
Test action. Go ahead.
Yeah. Type forms. Yeah, okay. Can be updated or create media, containers, photos, fields. I'm not really sure of the question, but assuming, can you put photos in containers?
Can the user upload containers? I'm not too sure about that. I know we can use photos in the survey itself, but I don't know that we can upload information. I haven't taken it that far, but it's definitely something to look into.
And
let's go ahead and look at this.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, Moki had another question just about Connect and paying for it and stuff like that, and I'm actually curious about this too. Moki's saying, do you have to pay per Connect? So you're paying for the type form and then paying another for PayPal, etc.
Yes. So each of these items would have a separate. Each of the apps or platforms that you're interacting with is going to have its own cost, and some of those are there are some that are free. There's some that have limited access. So right now I'm using a free account for Typeform, but it has limitations to it.
Gotcha.
And so those are handled separately. Claris Connect only covers that
Connect side.
that connection, while each of those other apps and those other platforms are going to have their own fees associated with it. And you can interact with, if we look at that, let's just create a new flow, or test. And you can look at all this list of apps here. And each of these, the Dropbox, for example, there's a free account for that. But then if you're using it more than so many gigabytes, then you need to pay for that. And then there's these other apps. There's Google, and each of these have different levels of tiers for either whether it's free or not. Most of these, though, I would imagine are paid. But Claris Connect does not cover those costs. It just covers the transfer of data from there to whatever platform you're moving the data to.
Got it. Okay.
So let's go ahead and try I'm going to try this form. I'm going to update this form one more time and see how that goes. Let's go back over here. So it looks like we have a new record, but there's nothing in there. Let's go ahead and make sure we're sorted. There we go. And once we confirm that this is working, I'm going to send this out and we can have everybody else test it as well.
Perfect.
Okay. Let's go ahead and select some items here and send that through. And let's see if something. So we just saw, I don't know, did you see that happen? It just came through and we had this pop-up. So let's go ahead and share this and people can try it out and we can see that information come up. And this survey is actually, I believe you have the survey, Haley, is that right?
I do, yes.
And let me just send you that link again. Have you done this yet, Haley?
The first one you sent me, yeah. And the second one, but yeah.
Oh, okay. So it's asking for your email.
You can put in my email if you want.
Haley, do you have a Haley
at .Marie. I don't know if I have a Haley at RC Consulting.
It's not going to check the email.
Okay.
You're in Discord today, so I'll put you in as Discord. Who's your favorite presenter?
I was going to say, what happens if you hit no on that? Will it go back?
Well, did you see you might not have seen it after I finished it. So who do you want for your presenter?
Let's go with Nick. Why not?
Okay. Are you sure?
No. I just want to see.
No.
I didn't do it this way. I just want to. Because.
Okay.
Okay.
So then it's asking you to confirm again.
All right, let's go, Calvin.
Oh, you're picking me. I feel so happy. What more do you want to learn about in the live stream?
Honestly, FM Go, just because I feel like that doesn't come up much.
Okay. Anything else not in that list?
I mean, I would initially say Connect, but since we are doing 2 days on that, but I think more on that, maybe.
Okay. Are you going to recommend this to anybody else?
Yeah, I already do.
Very cool. Now, why is that?
Couple of reasons. I like the content in the streams. I actually learn a lot from it since I'm not an experienced user. So it's useful for me. And when I run the stream, so I get to kind of chat with people, and I like just chatting and getting to know our listeners.
Is that all? That was some good reasons. I'm going to submit. Oh, we didn't put someone in here. Submit. We'll try that again. There it goes. So let's see. So as that is pulled in, and we can see a lot of people are already putting this in. Me singing.
I like that.
I don't remember singing. So there's so we can see people already putting in data here. That's great. And what we're looking at right now is this is just a master detail portal sorted in in descending order. So we get the latest things at the top. Global fields, that'd be a good one. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and refresh. And now all of our stats on the left side, or on the right side, are updated. So we've got 9 people who use Discord, 1 on Twitch, 4 on YouTube. I've got a 2, Christian a 1, Nick has 7. Nick is definitely pulling ahead, and Richard a 3. And then our topics, the way that comes in, it's coming in as an array or a list. So if we were to use this data in FileMaker, we'd probably want to parse that out, and so we can get some stats on it, because the way that it's coming through, it's counting each combination as 1. So that's not the most useful. Topic request, handling large data relationships. That sounds like a good one for Nick.
Yeah.
But so a lot of good comments here.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll have to start using this more often.
Yeah. Can you go? What was it? I want to write that down. Handling large.
Yeah, you can just access this file. It's on 41.
Okay.
Yeah, so this file is hosted. And to work with Claris Connect, your FileMaker app must be hosted on either FileMaker server version 18.0.3 or later, or FileMaker Cloud, the current version of FileMaker Cloud, 1.19, etc. Or it might be 2.19. But the current version that's supported right now.
There was another question, but
Yeah.
it more so just had to do with the pay, like the cost of Connect, and it was just about, do you pay per flow? Which I think in the conversation we previously had, you said yes, you do pay per flow, but
yeah. So it's an interesting question. So let's go ahead and jump back over here to the Claris Connect pricing and check it out. So when the pricing is basically it's more the API calls. So for $99 a month, it's 10,000 calls per month. And to give you an idea what that means, if we look at this flow here, we have 2 API calls. There's one API call to Typeform, and there's one API call to the FileMaker server. So this would be 2 of those 10,000 per month.
Got it.
And in this, if you don't own FileMaker, which I believe all of our listeners probably do own FileMaker, then you're limited to 15 flows. And so that'd be the idea of instead of connecting Typeform to FileMaker, maybe you want somebody to fill out a Typeform and their information automatically is added to MailChimp or something like that. So FileMaker's kind of out of the mix. But if you already own FileMaker, so you have FileMaker licensing, then you're eligible for this $49.99 a month. There's no limit to flows, so you're not paying per flow. You're just paying per request.
Okay.
And so these flows can be long. So it's good to know. Pay attention as you're working on this. Pay attention to what you think your usage will be. If you have a flow that's 10 actions long, then that would be every time it runs, that's 10 out of your allotted 10,000 or 50,000 per month.
When you say, when you say every time it runs, I'm sorry, I'm not a complete FileMaker user or anything. What do you mean every time it runs?
So this flow is enabled, which means anytime that somebody fills out the type form.
So like all of the ones that we just the 10 or whatever that just went through.
Yeah, so every time somebody runs this, then it's running, it goes through that and submits it. It runs this flow because it's enabled.
Gotcha.
And that takes, so that each time that's done, it takes 2 of our API calls from our account. So if we go back to our account over here, we'll see that we've used 54 of our allotted 500 monthly API requests.
Okay.
So
and it's monthly. Okay.
So depending on how much you use it, if you're expecting 100 surveys to be submitted every day, then you definitely need something bigger.
Yeah.
If you're expecting 250 over the course of a month, then this would just be about just perfect, because each form is taking 2 of those away. And you'll notice this is an even number. All of my flows are currently 2 requests, or are 2 API calls. So it's deducted evenly.
Okay, so question, actually a good question. What happens if you use all of those calls before the end of the month? Does it just disable the forms? And you
Yeah, that's a good question. I imagine it would just stop working. I don't know. But you do, or maybe it would. So there's the option for an expansion pack. So maybe it automatically charges you the expansion, or prompts you to pay for the expansion.
Yeah, I hope it prompts.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I haven't run into the scenario where we run out of API calls yet.
Okay.
Good question, though.
Yeah, I definitely think TK says, let's try to get over the 500 and then we'll see what happens.
Yeah, well, at this point, this is a trial account, so I'm assuming that it would just disable, because it's not, the use case is for testing, not for production.
Yeah, I definitely, with one of the surveys that I've been wanting to set something like this up for RCC, I don't know if I would hit 500 in a month, because it's also largely dependent on people actually responding to those surveys. So where I normally send an email saying, hey, can you please answer these questions? I don't know if they would respond better to just a link that they just click and click through, and I would get more responses. But that would be a good scenario to kind of test out, because I will limit myself with how much I have to do in a day to at least send 20 emails out with a survey. And I'll do like 20 a day for about 4 days, and then wait till the next month.
Well, if that's 20 a day for 4 days, that's 80 surveys that go out.
So
if all 80 people did it, that would be 160 API calls if those all went through. So you'd be left with another 300,
right?
340 left.
89. Oh yeah.
Yeah, provided that everybody does it, or everybody. So I think that might be a good use case for us to set this up.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's this. I think this is one of the a really good use case for Claris Connect, and it's really, and especially when if we, something like a survey often, I imagine, would change more often than say Twilio, and so Claris Connect gives an easier interface for making those adjustments than having to go back into a FileMaker script and restructure the way that it's calculating to set those fields and such. You'll see that to set something up like this in just using API calls with FileMaker, I'm not sure how long that would take. I haven't done it. One thing we can look at
hold on, I remember.
Yeah, go ahead.
So go back to, can you go to the results page where it kind of breaks out the data of how many people liked Nick, or how many, that.
Oh, here?
Yeah. So if this were something that I used, whether it be for reviews or customer surveys to see how our engineers are doing or what have you, would there be a way to actually collect the information on who's responding, like their email? Because I know you have to put in the email, but it doesn't.
Yeah, so the reason we put the email in was so that it would be recognizable. So in the case of, if we did have this connected with our CRM, then you could see exactly, we could have some script in there that, or auto enter calc, that automatically assigned it to the right person. In this case, so that's why it was in there. In this case, I'm not showing the email just because I knew we were live streaming and I didn't want everyone's emails to show up here. But yeah, that's all saved in the background. If we go into Manage Database, you'll see there's an email field. So that's where all of that information is being saved.
Would there be, I'm trying to think of what my question would be for this part. So when I do surveys, part of the information that I collect, would be what are ways that we can improve what we do, or our flows or anything like that. Is there a way that if, we ask those kind of questions, that I could have that data show up so that it kind of groups? I don't know how to ask this.
Yeah,
so
I see what you're saying. So the in this question, are you thinking that there would be it would be multiple choice and they would have the option to select multiple options?
I guess that's the way I would have to do it, but it would be more just how you have the other. So in the topic stats, it would be other and one person voted, but I would want to know what the other thing would be.
So I guess in the other, if you were to do it that way and you wanted to group them, the difficulty in grouping something that is manually entered is that we don't know what they're going to enter. So we would have to have some way to categorize them. So you could review the entry and say, okay, this is about communication, this is about quality, this is about time, and group those. And as they're grouped, we could put a summary together to show where those fall under, if that makes sense.
Got it. Yes, that does make sense. Okay. Just a note here. Jay says that he feels really left out, that nobody could vote for him as a presenter. We forgot to put him on the
Jay Ray?
Yep.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry.
Yep, we gotta get him on that form.
We can get him on the form.
He definitely
here. So if we want to see how the type form works, this is kind of interesting. So, and this is a nice thing about type form, is just that it's really flexible. So let's go ahead and take. So here's my type form. And I'll go ahead and go to who's your favorite presenter, and I will, it's warning me that if I change these things, it can mess things up.
Gotcha.
So I'll put J-Ray in there. I think in this case it won't mess things up, but I have to change it. I'll say add a picture. We'll say upload. And I'm just going to grab his photo right here, drag and drop. So there it is. He's choice number 5. We'll put the J-Ray back. And we will go, I think it's already saved. I'll go ahead and publish. So let's go ahead and try this again. Now, let's see if this breaks anything.
Yeah, so another thing here, if you update a form like that, people that already have the link, they won't get the updated one, right? You would have to resend the link out?
No, I'm using the old link. So I think the link stays the same. But
okay, yeah.
There you go. But so the link stays the same. One of the things that would mess everything up, because you will remember when we looked at that, is that all of the answers were numbered. It wasn't per it per answer. The answers weren't named; they were just numbered.
Yeah.
So if you change the order, that definitely would mess up the connection with Claris Connect, and you'd have to go in there and make an adjustment. Yeah, I'm sure.
Got it.
Okay. Finally conclude, and we'll say other. Okay. I want to know more about J-Ray's cool stuff. Say okay. And J-Ray's web portal wizard. Submit. Okay, so we just submitted that one. We'll see if that broke it. We got emojis going on over here. That's awesome.
Nice, I like it.
So, it went through without causing any problems. I'll go ahead and refresh. See J-Ray. J-Ray's got 2 answers, two votes now. Nick's way ahead of everybody with 10. I'm going to take him off next. No,
Sorry,
we'll
Nick.
leave him on there. Let's go ahead and I guess we could look at one thing we didn't get into is how to do an API call or a Claris Connect call starting with FileMaker instead of starting with another app. But my demo for that, the server went down. So let's just see if it's back up. It's back up.
Nice.
Do we want to check this out?
Sure, we got about 7 minutes.
Okay, so let's go ahead and go to Connect. Okay, it's this one. So we had this Connect demo here where we were receiving text messages. And the other thing that we didn't cover yesterday was sending a new text message from FileMaker. So if we look over here, let's go back to Claris Connect, and let's just say we'll start fresh. We'll say new today's demo, and it's not going to like the apostrophe. And in this case, we're going to say we're starting from FileMaker. So create a flow, and this is called demo from FileMaker. So create. And the first thing we need to do is select the FileMaker server, and we're doing a script trigger. We'll say continue. Sign into FileMaker server. Let's do that. I'm not sure if this is, well, let's try it out. Let's see if it's case sensitive. I know the Claris ID, I was invited to someone's Claris Connect group or team, and they capitalized one of the letters in my email, and it didn't work.
Oh,
it looks like that worked. So we'll say, know where that's going. We'll say continue. So here's a list of instructions how to get Claris Connect to work with, get your FileMaker app to work with Claris Connect. So first we need to go to our app, which is this one, and we will create they want us to go to the script workspace. And in the script workspace, click the plus to create a new script. And we'll say create new script. And then it says create a set variable step, and set the name of the variable to a global variable for JSON data. It walks you through step by step how to set up the script for sending data from FileMaker to Claris Connect. So we'll go ahead and open this, go back to our scripts, and let's go ahead and say a set variable. And we're using a global JSON data, and they want us to add this data right here, action script. So we're going to go ahead and say action script. And here it says add any data you want to send to Connect into the JSON data variable. Make sure you do not change the action property. So the action script must stay the same, but everything else is negotiable. So what other key value pairs would we want to add? And that all depends on what you're connecting to. So in the case of Twilio, we'll see that I have this list of values that I want to send to FileMaker, or send to Claris Connect, sorry. So let's go ahead and paste those in, and we'll see how that looks. So I'm using the JSON set element value, and all I want to say is where the text message is going to, which is my phone calc field, and the calc is just removing any extra characters, so it's just a number. And then you'll see we're starting with the value that Claris Connect gave us. I'll say OK. OK. Go ahead and save that. Let's go to the next. Number 4, add any data. We just did that. Number 5, create insert from URL step. Let's do that. Create insert from URL. And I believe it said dialog off. Set specify URL to the generated URL below, and I'll just pull this down. That's this URL right here. I'll copy, and this is the one that tells FileMaker which instance of Claris Connect it's working with. So let's go ahead and save this here. So that was under specify URL, and then under set specify CURL, the curl options, to, and then we just copy this string here, request post header, content type, application JSON, data, and then it's saying the data is in our global variable. So here's specify curl options. I'll paste that in, save it, and then close script tab and click save. So I just saved it. Create a script trigger on the desired layout to run the script saved in step 5. So I already have a script set up to run that. So let's go ahead back over here, and I'll say, hello, how's it going? And we should see that pop up in my email, or in my text messages, which it's not looking like it is. So let me go check. Oh, I guess what I need to do here is just run the script. So let's go ahead and, hello, how's it going? Let's go ahead and run. And let's go back over here. And success, so that went through. We'll save trigger. And we have to put our next action in. So that was Twilio. And we'll say send message, continue, sign into Twilio. And so here's our message. Let's go ahead and, so my message was, how's it going? Oops. Let's put that in once, and that was sent to this number here. This number is pulled from Twilio, so I'll put that in and save. And now let's go ahead and try that. So I was, let's say enable, and let's try that again, and we'll press run. And let's go ahead and go to our history. And so it says that it ran just now. Oh, and here's my email right here. I said OK. So let's change this option here to say something like, "This is great," and we'll run the script and go back over to my messages. So this is great. And then I can say, wow, we set this up yesterday. I'm hoping it still works. And it's looking like it didn't bring it through. I'd need to check check back on what we were doing yesterday and make sure that nothing happened there. But but we would expect the trigger that we set up yesterday to continue working. Yeah. I'm not sure. That might be I might have disabled this. Yeah, these are both disabled. That was my issue. If I enable these, and let's go ahead and back over here to today's demo and disable this one. Hello? Here's my hello. It came through. This is great. It doesn't look like it came through, but let's just double check and look in the background and see if it just didn't show. Sometimes that comes through, but I would need to see what's going on with the receiving message that we demoed yesterday, and see why that's not working. But we had that working yesterday. The point that we wanted to show now was sending a message from Claris Connect. Well, thank you everyone for watching the live stream, and looking forward to seeing you tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you very much. It was a pleasure having you on and walking us through this. And thank you everyone for being here today, and we'll see you again tomorrow.
Guys just stepped up the whole way. Calm, cool, collected. The quarterback, great read, good patience. More importantly, great job up front protecting this quarterback to give you a chance. And that's all you can ask for.
Try to rally down 10. 9:25 to go here in the fourth. Short motion by Amendola from the left. Brady takes the shotgun snap, stands in, throws it left for Amendola, reaches up and snacks a high throw and lands inside the 10, rolling to the 9. Ball slightly behind him, again he makes the grab.